And you're up in Montana, correct?
I am. I am. It's
Nice.
actually oh, well, there was snow on the ground this morning. It melted already. But yeah,
Oh
it's
well.
been very bipolar here for weather.
Man, the last time I went to Montana, it was like mid-July, like the heat of the summer. And we were shooting like a bunch of live performance videos with a bunch of metal bands in like a back barn of some dude's property. And we didn't wrap up till like 1 in the morning, and we were leaving. We were gonna head back to we were heading back south. And they're like, "Hey guys, do you have like coats and stuff? Because it's blistering cold outside right now." And it's like it's mid-July. I didn't think we needed coats. And they're like, "Yeah, it's like 32 degrees outside right now. So you may want to either A, run to the car, or B, hang tight for a second." And I'm like, okay. And we walked outside, and it was legitimately 32 degrees mid-July up in northern Montana. So,
Yep, dude, it can be like that. It is so, you just don't know. It's just so
right,
random sometimes.
right,
And we didn't even have much of a winter this year. Like, not really. Like,
really,
it's been super, no, I mean, like, it's actually been kind of spooky because we normally do have, like, we get a ton of snow and it's like below zero for a certain amount of time and all of that. But this year, we had like 2 nights like that that were like far apart, or
hmm,
2 days like that that were
yeah,
very far apart from each other.
yeah,
And it wasn't like, I don't know. I feel like the whole winter time was like trying to be spring and then becoming winter again and then getting warm. Like, it was just unusual. Us
yeah,
native Montanans, we're kind of suspicious about it, even though I'm not a fan of wintertime here. But
fair, fair. It was
I'm
kind of
like,
like,
I'm happy, but I'm also suspicious.
right. It was kind of like that here in Texas. So I'm in Texas now. I've been here about 4.5 years, and we had one, maybe 2 days where it snowed,
Hmm.
but it was more of an ice thing. So I'm originally from Chicago, so I'm used to getting 12 inches of lake effect snow and just getting dumped on you in the middle of the night. Just all that randomness that kind of happens. Uh, and here we just didn't have it, and now every like leading up into March here and even going into April, everybody's like, we've still got like one good freeze left in us, because usually we have like a week and a half where it just gets really cold for a very long time. And like, I mean, I'm telling you, in Montana, like a week and a half is a long time or something, but you know,
So it is what it is. My dad's from the South, so like he would like call his sister up that stayed in North Carolina because she would call him and be like, "We got an inch of snow or whatever, you know." And my dad would be like, "Well, you want to see what we got?" And he would just like show, send her videos of like just feet of snow. Like it was a competition. It was kind of
right,
funny
right. Hey,
too.
fair enough, fair enough.
But
So we're
I've
just
heard that our whole lives. Just
fair, fair, very fair. So we're gonna
yeah,
just kind of roll into this one. Welcome back into the podcast. We've got Aya joining us from Montana. How's it going today?
it's going good. Yeah.
Good. I'm excited to have you on.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, Like I've been following your page for a while and planning to message you and I just really took a long time, but
Hey,
we finally did it.
you know what though? Part of that's my fault as well. I should have followed up with you probably late last year and been like, "Hey, how are things going?" Because I think we started talking, was it like August or September of last year? And it's one of those things where I have so many people messaging me that unless I stay on top of it, I lose messages all the time, and I feel so bad
I
about it.
relate. I'm really bad with my phone in general.
Fair, very
All my
fair.
siblings are though, so I feel like it might be hereditary somehow. We're
Eh,
all terrible.
I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. So, uh, so you're in Billings, correct?
I am.
And
Yep.
now is it that where you're born and raised from,
Yes.
or okay,
Yep. I was born and raised here in Billings, Montana.
nice, nice. What was it? What was growing up in Billings like?
Honestly, it was pretty cool. I mean, I grew up in the Heights and it was pretty cool because we had We had like, it was the early 2000s, like, and there was like DVS bikes and, skaters and BMX bikers. And I tried to be a BMX biker. I mean, I still have a Haro, but I can only do bunny hops. I mean, I did some things, but I have two brothers that are really good at that, or they were. And I just wanted to be a part of things, and I thought it was cool. So I was really into that. And we had this all ages venue called the Perk that we went to as much as we could. Got into my first fight there. I was like 14 or something. And which I'll never forget because I didn't even know if I'd win. I was just trying to act tough and defend myself. But like, yeah, it's just a funny story. My brother was there to see it, my brother Rob. But yeah, it was actually fun. I mean, we rode our bikes around, walked everywhere, like had, just jumped jumps and went to little shows at the Perk, and it's pretty good times, honestly. So I feel like a lot of that stuff is gone in the Heights now, unfortunately. So I kind of feel bad for the teenagers that are teenagers there right now, because I feel like there's not as much to do as there once was.
I
So
feel I also think it's one of those things where when we were younger, we had the momentum to do that stuff. Like I grew up in the mid to late 90s where, internet wasn't a thing. So we had street, you went outside and it was street hockey, it was bikes, it was big, like whatever it was you were into,
yeah,
that's just kind of what you went out and did. And yeah, yes, I lived south of a big city, but we really didn't have much else to do because we didn't have like music venues to go see or comedy, we just didn't have any of that stuff. So, um, but I understand what you're saying. Like nowadays, it feels like a lot of that stuff is gone. So,
yeah. I don't know why, but I mean, I kind of know why, I guess, but I don't know.
fair.
I feel like I got to experience some of that
Yeah, for
to
sure.
where I am today.
Nice, nice. Oh, and so as far as music goes, was your family musical or where does that kind of come into play?
Actually, yes, I do have a fairly musical family. Growing up, so my dad plays guitar, and he always played a lot of like bluegrass and like Beatles songs growing up, and we definitely come from a Beatles family. My dad's a big fan of John Lennon, and so grew up hearing a lot of that and him playing songs. Like he's pretty much the entertainment at the gatherings,
Hmm.
entertainment. He's very entertaining too, very charismatic. And so really, I think we just grew up with our dad playing music around us and just having a good time. I don't think my dad's ever been in bands or anything, but he just like plays for fun, he just likes to
Nice.
play. But my brother Rob, he's also a guitar player, and he's the guitar player in my other project, Juniper Black, and that's a metal project that I'm the vocalist for.
Mm.
And then my sister Casey is an R&B singer. So her and I both really gravitated towards singing at very young ages. Sometimes I wonder if like I don't know, like because she's my younger sister. I'm like, I wonder if I inspired her just a tiny bit, but I don't know. I don't know if I did. But
Fair.
I know that I was always singing as a little kid, and she was always singing, and we just always sang. We just like to sing, um, and then so I'd say yes, we're a musical family, especially now because like
Hmm.
three of the siblings are all pursuing like music in some way.
Yeah,
So
that's really cool. That's now it all kind of makes sense how you were able to do that Freak on a Leash cover.
yes, I used to I laugh at myself because I came up with that like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
seriously. And it took me this long to just put it out on my YouTube channel. I'm like, why am I'm just I'm just disorganized about how I go about things, I guess. And when I get burnt out, I think that, like I do a lot at once and then I'll get burnt out and then I'll get back to it and I'll burn out again for a while, or I'll just forget about stuff. But
For
I'm
sure.
trying to get better with that now, and try and make myself do more stuff. And my dog is upset that he's not getting all the attention right now.
It
Sorry.
happens. If the
Um,
dog needs to jump on your lap,
Actually,
that's
I think
fine.
you might need to go outside real quick.
Okay,
One
not a
second.
problem.
We just need
Not a
this.
problem.
Come on. Can you go outside? Outside? No? Okay.
Nope, I got the attention. That's what I wanted.
All right, he just wants my attention. Well,
Fair.
come here. You can sit with me. Here, you can be part of the stream.
There
Look.
you go. Dogs are always good for ratings.
That's right. Especially this one. Look at him.
Yeah,
Look at that mug.
nice. Yeah. So have you found that now that you've kind of or not that you've got two projects, you've got like the metal project, the metal band project, and then your solo stuff. Do you find that you're getting burned out more frequently or less frequently?
Well, I would say less frequently lately.
Mhm.
I actually been sick all week, so I did kind of get cut down a little bit this week from doing really anything. I'm starting to feel as you know, I have a voice and I'm feeling better today and I can breathe better. But man, the beginning of this week, I've just been pretty much spending this whole week like resting and and I still worked, I went to work because I need to work. I need to do that. So
Mhm.
it's like just trying to make it through this week and I'm starting to feel a little pep in my step again,
Nice.
so I'm thinking I'm going to start posting some stuff about my last single coming out and a video that I've been shooting and start harassing people again. So
Fair
everyone's
enough.
be harassed online once again by me because I'm starting to feel better.
Hey,
But no, like I try to find a balance. Like I'll focus on Juniper Black for a little bit, and then I'll focus on Aya for a little bit, and I try to find balance. I haven't fully found it, but luckily with Juniper Black, there's 6 members,
hmm
and so it's not everything's really on me with that band. Like I do tend to be in charge of the social media stuff the most, but like
hmm
I've got like my keyboard player Coraline, she also helps with a lot of that, and like if I need anything, she's there. And the boys are always working on new material, and we're recording, and so someone's always doing something.
hmm
So,
Yeah.
so that's more of a team effort, and that's really nice. But with Aya, it's all on me, so that can be a little that can my solo stuff can be a lot sometimes, only because it's on me only,
Yeah.
and it's all on me.
Fair. And
But I
that
don't want to give up on it because I've worked way too many years to
right,
build it. So I'm like, at this rate, I'm just gonna be here for the long run and just keep
right,
going with it.
right. That there, I understand 100% what you're going through because live and amplified. It's just kind of been like I've been doing it for so long. It's like you just keep on grinding.
Yeah, I know.
You put so
I
much
keep
time,
going.
money, and effort. You put so much time, money, and effort in. It's like, well, yeah, I'd hate to give up on it now. So,
Exactly, exactly. And I also think like because I started well, look for the Aya thing or the solo
mhm,
stuff, I've really been writing songs for that in particular. Like I started writing songs like I'd say in 5th or 6th grade. They were horrible. They were really,
mhm,
really cringe. But because that's when I started writing lyrics in songs
mhm,
like that. But I feel like in the middle school, I wrote a bunch of just not great songs either, but they were fun. And then high school, I had some things happen and things started changing, and I started really writing some deeper stuff in a way. And then
mhm,
so I actually still perform a lot of those songs and play them. And one of them is recorded and out there from like when I was 15. Like I wrote it on acoustic on my dad's guitar.
nice.
Um, and so that's a really old song, but I feel like I've been like writing songs and performing for about 15 years now.
Mhm.
So
Gotcha.
that's just been a really long running thing that I've noticed over the years, like the music industry and the way things work changed so much. So like I think just kind of moving through all the changes constantly and trying to figure out, oh, this doesn't work anymore. So I think I'm supposed to be doing this. Like, what I
Mhm.
mean has been trial and error for such a long time. So it's
Oh yeah.
just trying to keep up with how you're supposed to do things and how you need to change or upgrade yourself in a way to keep up with the game of things has not been easy, but it's happening. Like I'm doing more.
Yeah.
I'm trying to live stream more. That's a big downfall for me. I do not live stream enough, but I'm trying.
Right.
So,
I don't
um,
seem I don't seem to be live streaming in the right places at the right times, which is annoying. But live streaming is a whole different animal.
it is. I always feel like, I don't know. I'm like, do they really want to watch me? I don't
Fair.
know. I'm like, do they want to see me? I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
like, but you just got to do it. You just got to start doing stuff. And you might feel a little embarrassed. I definitely
Mhm.
feel embarrassed sometimes, like trying to just put myself out there all the time. Like, listen to my song or look at me, I'm doing this. Makes you feel kind of funky sometimes, or me anyway. But but that's just the reality of things, you know. You gotta promote yourself, you gotta market yourself, and just, I guess, ignore the embarrassment of it at times.
Yeah.
We just have to.
Right.
I
Right.
know a lot of artists can relate with me on that. I talk to people about it, and we're all just like, oh, just trying to come up with content and you know, be present as much as we can. And a lot of us do feel that way. We feel kind of embarrassed about
Yeah.
it, but it is what it is.
Right.
It's just the way
But
things are now. So
like I've had an opportunity to kind of look through a lot of your social media, and I think you're doing a great job. Like as yourself, by yourself. I mean, you're posting pretty consistently, which is great. I went through your
I
TikTok. What's that?
got to work on my TikTok, but
Yeah.
we'll
But
figure
like
that out.
I like the I don't want to call the Freak on a Leash a random acoustic cover, but it was cool. Like it was good. So stuff like that I feel like is always a good thing for like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and stuff of that nature. So
Yeah, thank you. Thank
so
you for saying that, because I am trying. So
nice. So when you first set out to start doing your solo project, Aya, what was the initial like thought process? Who were you like listening to musically? Who did you want to like model yourself after?
so inspirational wise, like
Y-
for artists
Yeah.
that have really inspired me over the years and I think helped form my sound,
Yes.
are like Maynard James Keenan from Tool and A Perfect Circle and Pacifier and all that. Definitely like vocally. I really admire his vocal style and I
Yes.
think it's very unique. I like the runs and just the way he goes about. I just really love it. You know what I mean? And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's really inspired me in a way, like with my vocals. Not that I'm trying to sound like Maynard, I'm me, but it's
Yeah.
inspiring, you know, or it's you know, also, as lots of people already know, Corn,
Yeah.
Jonathan Davis. I love his emotional, the way the emotional aspect of his vocals and uniqueness
Hmm.
of his vocals. And Corn in general is just a very, especially their early material, is just um, very deep, you know, and vulnerable. And it changed my life. Like that band really changed my life when I discovered them. Like I felt like a whole new person when I discovered that band. And then Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails for sure. Like the way he writes his music, also the vulnerability, the lyrical aspect of how he writes his lyrics, and the expression, you know, that he does through Nine Inch Nails, like
Hmm.
it's just very inspiring to me. So I definitely am mostly inspired, I feel, by those three groups. But
Hmm.
I also have always been very inspired by trying to think. Um, Free Dominique from Kidney Thieves. Not a lot of people remember Kidney Thieves, but I always really liked her vocal style and thought it was really cool. And I'm a big fan of that group. And I would also say a little Amy Lee from Evanescence too. I
Okay.
mean, I definitely grew up on some of that, you know, a little Amy
Yeah.
Lee for sure. And um, oh my gosh, I keep forgetting this girl's name and she's so amazing. But the Flyleaf singer, I really like her too. I
Nice.
forget. I think her name is do you remember? The first singer
Uh,
now.
I
I'm
don't
forgetting.
know.
Oh God, I'm having a horrible memory right now. But
It's all good.
anyway, but yeah, but I needed to throw in some female artists because obviously, like as a girl, like I've been inspired by some females too. The first woman that inspired me when I was in grade school was Rebecca St. James, but she's a Christian artist.
Mm.
My mom's was very, she still is, you know, just very religious, and so you know, I was a youth group kid. I didn't like it though, so I didn't like it really. I didn't have a good experience personally, like growing up in the church environment, but it is what it is. And at the time, like, you know, everything was like secular music except for Christian music
Hmm.
a lot. So I grew up hearing a lot of Christian bands and stuff, you know. So Rebecca was the first woman I feel that inspired me to really want to like pursue being like a singer, you know. And it
Hmm.
makes sense now because back then, you know, just I was just a little girl. I didn't know anything. And she's, you know, had a leather jacket and like long dark hair and she looked kind of edgy, you know what I mean? So to me, it makes sense that I would gravitate towards her as a little girl. Now that I'm older, I'm like, of course I would go for her over like all the other ones that I we're hearing. But yeah, so yeah, hopefully that
Nice.
makes sense. And
No,
Deftones, Chino from Deftones, and like his projects Crosses recently. So recently I've been feeling really inspired by Crosses. And also I would say like I've been listening to a lot of progressive metal or like Leprous and like the Contortionist and like stuff like that. So I've been feeling really inspired by like bands like that lately too. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that's getting into my acoustic solo stuff, but I feel like it kind of is a little bit.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah.
I was watching a video not too long ago about why people hated new metal.
Oh God,
Um
I think I might have watched the same video.
yeah. And so I did a whole thing on my YouTube channel. It was like, oh, so this is why everybody hated me in high school. And it basically, I don't know, it was an interesting video, and they were talking about the history of new metal and the kind of like the evolution of it from like Corn to Limp Bizkit, just this whole weird thing. It was kind
Still
of,
love Limp Bizkit. I can't
yeah.
help it.
So hey, it happens.
I,
But
I understand. I get it. I can understand why it was hated,
yeah,
I can.
fair.
Looking back,
Fair.
I'm like, I
Eh,
know.
like it had its moments. Like it had moments of really good music. So we'll take
I
it for what
think,
it's worth, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like the early days of new metal was like the best for sure, in my
Hmm.
opinion. I feel like when a lot of bands started wanting to copy that sound
Mm.
is when it got a little disingenuous to a degree. Does that make sense?
Yep,
Um,
it does.
you know, it turned it more into like a trend of these bands wanting to emulate it, and then they
Hmm.
weren't emulating it quite in the same way that the original
Mm.
bands that came on the scene did in a way. So, and I don't like when I tell people like I am a fan of new metal, I do kind of say that sometimes. I'm like, I do love new metal, but it doesn't mean I love every new metal
Hmm.
band because some
Fair.
of them are a little, only
It's a
the
little much.
OGs for the most part,
Yeah, fair enough.
but
Fair enough. Um, so now with your single project, you're in the process of releasing an EP. You have two songs out right now, or is it three?
so actually I've got 4 out
Four?
now
Okay.
and I've got one more on the way. I believe
Gotcha.
this week. I keep wondering if I should push it back a week, but I haven't decided, but either this week or next week. Just
Well, if
because I
you've,
got sick this week and I haven't
yeah,
done a lot of build up content for it.
yeah.
So I
I was gonna
don't
say,
know.
if you've been sick a week, I'd say probably push it back a week if it's not
That's
gonna
what I was
like
thinking. I
hinder the
might do that.
process. So
Go in and have it come out maybe a week later so I can have a little more cushion to
yeah,
let people know
gotcha,
it's coming.
gotcha.
And I'm also shooting a music video for this last one. So, and it's not quite finished yet, but it's almost there. I'm really excited about it. I'm working with Jasper James and Corey Young, and they are both phenomenal videographers here in Billings, and they are just so creative. And then I did put out a video for my interlude,
Hmm.
the title track, Warning
Hmm.
Signs, and that was shot by Alienated Productions by Cassandra
Yes.
Jean in particular. And I just think it turned out so good. My whole idea was I wanted to take this interlude that was titled after the whole EP and then have like because it's only like 2.5 minutes long, and
Hmm.
just have kind of like a mini music video with it as a marketing thing to kind of like get people to understand where I was coming from while writing the whole thing, to
Mm.
understand the concept in a way, you know.
Fair.
So that was my whole thought process behind that. And that's why
Fair
I
enough.
did that.
Completely understood. Completely understood. Um, so with this new song that's going to be coming out, we'll say in 2 weeks now at this point. Have you released any information on it? What's like the title or any of that
Not
stuff? Or
yet. No, it's going to be titled, or it is titled, Underwater.
okay.
And it's a really interesting song because it's actually 5 years old as of now, but I wrote it 5 years ago on acoustic guitar, and I kept feeling like it needed to be on piano for some reason. Like
Mm.
I just kept thinking, oh, maybe I should try this on piano. Like I feel like it would be fit better on piano. And I'm not like I can play piano, but I am a much better guitar player than piano player. Like I've kind of taught myself some piano enough to write songs, and like record some stuff, but I don't know if I'd play piano. I mean, I'm working on getting myself to play piano live at some point. I just
Mm,
am I'm still just more comfortable playing my guitar live than piano.
sure, sure.
But like, so I did though. I got it on piano and started like, then it turned into a piano piece, and I recorded some scratches of it like that here,
Mm,
a lot of scratches. And then I got some new plugins from Arturia, like synth type stuff, because I've been always wanted to add like more synthy, dark shit to my stuff,
yeah, yeah.
wasn't sure how to go about it, but I got some new tools, little plugins, and I was
Nice.
experimenting, and I found this sound randomly, and it was so perfect. That's actually going to be one of the first things I post. Is I was going to try and just post the sound and come up with like a cute little caption to go with it. But it's just a really cool sound. It's so perfect for it. Like, it was one of those moments where a light bulb just goes off and you're like, this is it, this is it. And then I just built it up from there, and I'm really proud of where it's come. Like, it's going to be a very unique song, I feel,
Nice.
from what I've released in the past. I mean, I hope people will feel that way, but regardless, I'm proud of it. So, but that song I feel has been through the ringer more than any of the others on the EP. I've recorded it so many times, or so many different versions of it, that it's kind of it's kind of funny actually. I'm
Sure,
like, when am I going to be done with this? But
sure.
I get really obsessive sometimes, or I get really like yeah, I guess obsessive. I can get
Mm,
really obsessive with certain songs, and then I just like can't stop for a while, and I'll just like really really focus on it for a while. And
nice,
I'm glad I did that with this one, because now it's where it is, so
nice.
it worked
So,
out
what you said you recorded it this song several times. What
several times.
when you say you re-recorded it, was there like major differences, or like what was kind of
Definitely.
the
Yes, like first it was just piano and vocals, and then it was like a piano like multi
mm,
plug-in, so it was really
yeah,
beautiful and
mm,
airy. But the reason I decided that wasn't right for it was because the song, well, it's got three verses. It's not as
mm,
long as Sunshine, my song Sunshine. That one's like 7.5 minutes long, but
mm,
it's like 5 minutes at least long. And I was thinking, like, I kind of want there to be more layers or more stuff going on in a way to
mm,
like keep the attention of the
mm,
listener better. And even though it was beautiful the way it was also like, this just might not be like, I don't think it's
mm,
going to get what it deserves, the attention it would
yeah,
deserve if I left it just kind of like that.
yeah,
And so that's when I started experimenting with like just other sounds or percussion, and just trying to figure out how I can just elevate it in
mm,
a different way,
yeah. I
So, and
totally,
I'm glad I did, but that was really hard. It took forever to find the right percussion or
yeah,
drums for this. Took a long
totally,
time.
totally understood. The reason I asked that question is because I was sitting in somebody's live stream about 3 weeks ago at this point. And we were talking about like music and just like release strategies in general. And something he brought up that kind of pertains to this situation that you may want to consider is taking all those different versions of the song
Hmm.
and releasing it as an EP itself, because you never
Oh,
know which version people are going to connect with.
that's true. Well, there is. So the song I released, I'm Doing Fine, off the
Mhm.
EP.
Mhm.
I actually did record two different versions of that. And I
Yeah.
was thinking about doing that with that one,
Yeah.
because the other version really is so good.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I just chose the one I chose, and I'm
Yeah.
glad I did. I really
Yeah.
think I should do that one, because the other version is really good. It's more acoustic, but it has this build up towards the end that is just
Mm.
so cool. And I put like a 7/8 rhythm behind like 4/4 time. Like,
Mhm.
I'm still an amateur with producing, so I don't exactly know what I did, but I did something where the time signature was just kind of like it, it
Different.
was it was a polyrhythm. Yes, there we go. I'm like, there's a word for this. I feel like it was kind of a polyrhythm thing.
Yeah.
It was still a little not perfect, because I'm doing it and I need help sometimes, but it was cool. It actually
Yeah.
kind of reminded me of a perfect circle a little bit. A little bit. I was like, But so yeah, I'm actually planning on doing something like that for that. Like, just
Nice.
maybe releasing that too, just because
Hmm.
I'll be a little while down the road. So
Yeah, for sure. It like right now, as much as the industry has changed and singles kind of run the world and like all these different things that are kind of have changed the music business with streaming and digital streaming and radio and all that fun stuff. It's always kind of interesting how many opportunities there are to take multiple swings at getting a song out there. And I always love talking to people about different release strategies and ideas and stuff like that. So
yeah,
yeah, nice. Um,
me.
so you're in the process of finishing up this EP, finishing up the release of this EP, and obviously kind of contemplating. I think we've kind of decided that you're going to push the final single to next week.
I think so. I think I should give it
Yeah,
a little more time.
fair. So as you're kind of approaching the end of this EP, what's kind of running through your mind right now? Obviously, outside of switching the release
Yeah.
date of the final song.
So what I'm thinking is my plan after this is to I'm going to focus a lot on recording with Juniper Black next because
Hmm.
we're also recording and I want to get some of our songs out there. But I'm also going to start pre-production for my album.
Mm.
Um, so I did record an album in 2018. It was titled Pull. And that's a whole nother story. It's kind of a lot, but it was just kind of a weird time. Like I was I think pushing myself too hard at the time. Like I was working full time, playing a lot of gigs to like get money to pay for it, like trying to like
Hmm.
make enough to pay for it. I'm a mom, I've got two kids, and so that's a job in itself. And then I've been trying to record, I'd never recorded professionally before, so I was definitely an amateur. And I think there was just a lot of um, I don't know. I feel like it was a little confusing, the whole process, and it just didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to. And it wasn't quite the sound I was going for. Like it was close, like some things were great, but it just didn't come together in the way I really wanted it to be.
Mm.
So after everything, I did the album release show. There's CDs floating around of it in here in Billings, but I did not put it online because I knew it wasn't quite there. But
Mm.
a lot of that's on me. I wasn't really in the right headspace, and I was just, like I said, really pushing myself too hard, um, and I just wasn't, yeah, I just wasn't quite in the right headspace for that. Like I really should have put a stop to that album release show and worked longer on it. But yeah, it was just confusing all around. It was just not the best experience, but it was a good experience to have because it taught me a lot. Um, and it also eventually pushed me into finally turning my closet into a studio, like I'd always said I was going to do,
Yep.
like doing it properly anyway. And buying the materials, like sound treating it, getting a proper laptop,
Mm.
interface, like, and being like, all right, we need to like get with the program. It's like if we want to get if I want to get my vision out or eventually get my ideas out the way I want them, I'm going to have
Mm.
to learn how to try and do as much of it myself. But then I work with someone more experienced to help bring it all together, which is what I did with this EP. So I know I'm capable now because I did that with the EP. I pre-recorded it, pre-produced it, got it as close as I could to what I wanted, and then worked with Tyson Creeder here in Billings, who's
Mm.
a very professional, really great engineer. And we worked together, and now it sounds really, really great. I mean, listening to my old mixes or like when I first did them, I'm like, and it's funny because I thought they sounded, which they did sound pretty good actually. For
Yeah.
for an amateur, they did not sound bad. All right, they
Right.
didn't sound bad. I mean, I thought they were pretty good, but comparing it to what Tyson's done to him, I'm like, wow, like he really had a lot of work on this. But I mean, I don't really know much about EQ yet, and like,
Mm.
I'm not the best mixer. I want to be though. I do like mixing actually. So if I keep going, I might be a really good mixer here in a few years. Who knows?
Nice.
But you got to keep going. You just got to keep doing it so you can get better at it. But yeah, so pretty much my thought process is releasing this video, releasing this last song, and getting some new merch made too, because I have artwork I haven't yet shared. So I'm going to share that this week.
Nice.
Done by Sarah Wright. She's an amazing artist here in Billings. I like working with obviously talented people here in Billings. And I'm going to, yeah, just start pre-production on Pole and finally redo this album that I've been wanting to fix or redo for 5 years. So, and that's going to be a huge weight off my shoulders once I do that. I think once I do that and I actually release it into the world, it's going to be like a huge accomplishment in my eyes. And
Nice.
then from there, I mean, I'm just gonna, yeah, I got some collaborations in the work too that are very disorganized right now, but well, because of me,
I
not them.
yeah,
So
fair.
I got collaborations I'm trying to do, and then again, Juniper Black. Just want to make sure that we get our music out this year too, because we got some really good shit. So I
Nice.
really like my band. I love them.
That's cool.
I
That's
love them.
really cool. It's I love that you're exploring collaborations as well. I think that's something that a lot or most musicians don't even explore. And but especially when you're trying to build your following, that's the best way to do it because you're basically bringing two fan bases together and whoever sticks around, you know, they're there. So I
Exactly,
love the
and it's
fact that,
fun.
yeah,
It's so fun. Like,
eh,
just adding your little touch to someone else's stuff or them adding their touch to yours. Like,
mm,
it's really fun.
nice, nice. Um, so, oh yeah.
Rough. He's a very sassy dog.
Oh, it's all good.
He's,
So what's the independent scene like in Billings?
lately I feel like it's been doing pretty good,
Hmm,
like despite COVID messing things up there for everybody for a
right, right.
while. I mean, it's definitely different than it was when I started out. Like I've like been talking with some people lately and like been like, it's crazy. Like when I first started playing open mics and like trying to like book shows and
Hmm,
play, I feel like there wasn't a lot of options for recording. There wasn't a ton of options for a lot of things, because it is Billings. No offense to Billings, but it's Billings. It's not like a music town per se.
yeah.
Uh, so, so I think that's why it maybe took me so long to even try to record anything
Hmm,
professionally. Because I mean, as soon as I heard about that studio, I was like, all right, let's go. Like finally, I there's a studio here that I can finally record stuff.
hmm,
Because I did try recording myself prior for like a few years on like a little 8 tracker thing, but I couldn't do a lot of editing with it. So it was just kind of a dead end all the time.
yeah.
But I will say, like during that time, it was just kind of there wasn't a lot for us, I feel. But at the same time, I feel like it got really, really good for a while. Like a lot of mixed genre shows were happening. I was a part of a lot of that, like metal, hip hop,
Nice.
acoustic singer-songwriter, like folk, whatever, like indie. There was a lot of mixed genre shows there for a while that was so fun.
Yeah.
And and then those days kind of died down, and COVID happened. And but I feel like lately it's been really booming in Billings. Like a lot of the artists seem to be supporting one another a lot more. And
Nice.
I can feel the shift happening. And there's also a lot more opportunity to record and stuff now too. There's multiple people you can kind of go through, like Juniper
Yeah.
Black. We released our first single. We worked with Jesse Benoit out of Iconoclast Studios,
Hmm.
and that was wonderful. And then, well, me with Tyson, my sister works with, well, she works with multiple producers, I think, but still, like, there's just like I feel like there's more chance of getting yourself recorded and getting stuff out there now, and there's more support I feel with the scene. I mean, I'm seeing it anyway, and I've
That's
always tried to be supportive as I can of everybody because we're all trying to do the same thing. So,
oh for
you know,
sure. It's always tough to kind of see a small town that has so many musicians and then like that build up to building a music scene it's a cool ride to watch unfold, but those early days where you're just kind of making it work any way you can, it's like those could be some of the most fun days because it's like you said, multi-genre shows because I lived in Roswell, New Mexico for a lot of years, and they were starting to build out like a pretty sustainable independent scene. And it was like you had metal bands and solo acoustic female singers. And it was like, okay, well, we don't really have anybody else to lean on. So this is what these shows are going to be like. You had the acoustic singers that would warm up, and then you'd
Yeah.
bring in like the heavy metal bands or the punk rock band, whatever specific genre it was. And it was always really entertaining. Like, so
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's the kind of shows we had a lot, I feel, in like the early days for me anyway. At the
yeah.
rail yard too. The rail yard was a very really cool venue that a lot of us miss. It's been closed for like, I don't know now, maybe 4 or 5 years,
Oh
maybe
wow.
longer. I don't know. That was where I had my first paid show though. My very first
Nice.
flyer, everything. So a lot of us miss that venue, but that was a lot of people's first like step into the scene too, was playing at that venue, which at the
Nice.
time I think Sean Lynch was running. He was, yeah. Sean Lynch gave me my first show there. So, and he's a promoter here in Billings. He
Nice.
has expanded a lot with his venues now. I think he owns like multiple venues now. So, but yeah.
Must be doing something right.
Oh, yeah.
So, um, so you've got the solo stuff, you got the EP that is about 2 weeks from being completely released. The music video, do you think by moving the single release back, do you think you'll have the music video ready by the time the single
No,
releases? Or
I think the video might be released a little after it, which I
okay,
think is perfectly fine
yeah,
personally. Like, I think if anything, it'll just bring people maybe back to.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of hoping it would bring people back to the EP by having the video come out a little after the song, if that
fair.
makes sense. I mean, I really don't have a ton of listeners right now anyway on streaming platforms. So I don't think, I mean, but I'm trying to change that this year. That's like a thing I'm really trying to work on, is figure out how to gain more listeners, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. That's something I've not put a ton of time into, just because well, I'm just always like strewn all over the place with
Mm,
things. So I think I just haven't honed enough energy into it. But that's going to be a big goal this year, is to try and get my listeners up, because yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know how many people are even going to hear the song, is what I mean, before
fair,
the video comes out.
fair.
Unless all of a sudden, I just get a boom, but we'll see. I don't know. I
Yeah,
did submit the song into a playlist, or I tried to submit it into some playlists. So hopefully
nice,
somebody will like it enough to put it in their playlist. And then
fair.
maybe that will
Yeah.
help me.
Playlists kind of seem to be the thing right now, and I'm trying to get my playlist back up and running. Well, not back up and running, but we had it going pretty good there for a few years, and then people just stopped sending. Like started losing track of who was releasing new music, and so my playlist kind of stayed the same for a long time, and I was just like, all right, it is what it is, but hopefully.
I'm done. I'm just kidding.
Right, not that I'm done, but it's just like it was in the height of the pandemic and then coming off of it, trying to manage the podcast plus everything else we had going on. It's like, all right, the Spotify playlist, that is like the least of my concerns right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You got to find like what's most important to work on, which is
Mm,
so hard. Like, I make lists like all the time, like every other day I make a list of like what I need to possibly do that day or
yeah.
whatever. I'm working on a website right now. I'm
Nice.
actually really proud of myself. I've had a lot of trouble with websites. I've been trying to make a website for like at least the past 5 years, and I have just like had so much trouble. But I tried doing one on Bandoozle, I tried doing one
Mm,
on Squarespace, and I think another one that I can't remember. But every time I would get to a certain place and I wouldn't know where to go from there, and I would
mm,
get so confused. And I would even look up tutorials, but I'm not the techiest person. So I would just get confused and then just let it go. And then I would just cancel it because I didn't want to pay for something I wasn't using, right?
right.
But,
Yeah.
but now I'm doing something different, and I am getting somewhere with my website. So I
Nice.
think I might finally have a website that's a real website this
Fair.
year. Hopefully within the next couple weeks. So I'm going to try and work on it little bit by each day for the next couple weeks. And yeah, and have that be like my main place I want people to come. And you know what I mean, try and sell merch on there. I'll have to figure that out, how to connect like a store or something
Yeah.
for merch.
If
But
you're
I'll figure it
using
out.
if if you're using Wix, I know they have a
That was what
not
it
that
was.
oh,
Wix
that's
was
what
the
it was.
other one.
Okay.
Actually, no, it's
Wix.
okay. I'm doing Google sites.
Okay, gotcha.
Actually been pretty, it's been pretty good so far. I've actually been making some headway. I'm impressing myself. Every time I add
Nice.
something to it, I'm like, look at me. Look at me
Right.
making this. I'm doing this. I'm making.
Nice. Hey, fair enough. I
Yeah. So
websites are hard because they're expensive. Like, especially if you're paying somebody to like support it, it's like, yeah, you could pay X amount for just like the base website, but then you don't really get a whole lot of the features that really benefit having a website. And then you got to pay more for those benefits. And it's like, man, that's why I ended up taking our website down, because I was paying like 75 bucks a month just to get all the features that we needed to, kind of make it worth our while. And then after like 6 months of, okay, I'm trying to get all this to work, but nobody's coming to the site. It's like, I can't justify paying 75 bucks anymore. Whereas, like, especially during the pandemic and from like 2020 to late 2022, we had thousands of people coming to our website every month. So it was just kind of like, it made sense. But then at something happened in 2023 where people stopped showing up, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay like thousands of dollars just to have nobody come to the website anymore. So,
that makes sense.
you know,
It does. I mean, when it's not paying out or whatever, but mine's going to be real simple for now,
mhm,
but we'll see. You know,
right.
I just really want to sell merch on it and just have like my socials on it. And, just, I think it's better than, I mean, Linktree is great. And I have a Linktree
Mm,
right now, but
mm,
I just feel like this might be a better choice than Linktree. And it's also going to enable me to have an email finally.
mm,
So I can finally do an email list. Oh, I've
right.
been trying to figure that shit out for so long.
Email lists is the most important thing. Like,
Exactly. And I'm like,
li-
I gotta make this happen like this
mhm,
year. Like, and I'm doing it though. This website's leading into that. So I'm like, all
nice.
right, like,
E-
finally
e-
getting it together. I'm trying to be more business-like. And
right.
I'm definitely creative a lot more than business, but I'm just trying to be more business-like about it and just accept that that is how things need to be. And
Mm,
I want to grow. I just got to start thinking more like a businesswoman. So I'm trying, but
I,
creative stuff will always be first, in my opinion, though.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that will
Yeah.
never overtake like writing the music and
Yeah.
recording it, all that stuff. But I still got to find a balance between it. So
Good thing is, once you get all the like back end technical stuff like the website, it allows you more time to be creative, because
I do.
if you set everything up right, it'll kind of, for the most part, handle itself, and it'll just kind of say, hey, there's something, if there's something wrong, it'll tell you like, hey, this isn't working, we need to fix that, like whatever it was. That's kind of how I had my website set up. So it was like, I had it set up to where people could book their own podcasts, and it would alert me like, hey, so and so booked a podcast for this day at 7 p.m., like whatever. And
Yeah.
it worked, but then I've realized I had no control over my life anymore, because I had people just kind of booking podcasts whenever they wanted. And I'm like, yep, that's not going to work anymore. So,
Well, yeah, that definitely makes sense because that would be really tiresome to
mhm,
not have to break it all from that.
right, right.
Have no control.
Yeah. So, outside of music, when you do have time to kind of decompress, what do you like to do? What are some of your hobbies outside of the music?
Well, I gotta be honest, I don't have that exciting of a life. I really center, like, I mean, I like hanging out with my kids. My kids are
Hmm.
amazing. So my main priorities are my kids, and my fitness. I do
Hmm.
like fitness. I work out regularly and really into like right now I'm trying to like figure out how to eat cleaner. And I've been kind of into that for a while though, like
Hmm.
since I've got my son really, but I enjoy yoga, like working out. Yeah, just trying to eat well, not perfect because I do have a binge eating problem sometimes. I have a thing with sweets. It's a thing.
Hmm.
I can eat a whole thing of Oreos if it's in the house and very easily. So that's just a thing. But I'm just interested in that sort of thing. And I'm trying to think what else do I do? Because I mean, I pretty much just, yeah, I just like work out, go to work, and hang out with my kids, my pets. And if I'm not doing that, I'm writing songs or trying to record or I mean, I do feel like I need more hobbies than that though. Like
Okay.
I've actually been thinking about this lately. Like I feel like ever since I was like which this is really young, but I don't know what it is about like my obsessiveness about things like music, I guess. But like when I was in like a kid, little kid, like I wrote books. They were terrible, but it's like I wrote books. I drew. I love to draw. I obviously sang. Like I love just doing creative things in general, right? But then I got to a point, like I think in middle school maybe, where I was like really knew I wanted to pursue music, right?
Mm.
And I wanted to sing for sure, at least be a front person for a band or something. And I just kind of put all my eggs into that basket immediately. Like I pretty much, I mean, I drew for fun and sketched, but I didn't put any effort into getting better at drawing. I didn't put any effort into getting like better at writing like books or anything. Definitely was writing lyrics, but like I just really focused and honed in on the idea that I'm going to be an artist, and that's
Mm.
really what I want to do, right? So on one hand, that's kind of cool that I just knew what I wanted to do at such a young age. But at the same time, now that I'm getting older, I'm like maybe I should paint some time, or maybe I should like, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's like I kind
Yep.
of feel like I maybe could have made room for other creative endeavors to
Yep.
like balance things out or to give myself a break from like the same creative
Yeah.
thing. And I didn't think about it till recently, which is odd, but like, so now I'm thinking, yeah, now I'm thinking like maybe I should like start drawing again or not writing books. I'll never write books. I've already gave that up.
Hmm.
But like, you know, I'm more like drawing, painting,
Yeah.
doing creative stuff like that. I do love makeup. I mean, I feel like that matters.
Yeah.
I'm very creative with my makeup. I like doing really weird shit with my makeup. And I do view that as a creative outlet, you know. So definitely like makeups. I guess I could say that's a hobby. Makeup's definitely a hobby. I'm very interested in it. I think it's really fun. And yeah, but I mean, for the most part, I just, yeah, I work out, hang out with my kids and pets, and
Nice.
do weird makeup and music shit, whatever that may be. Um, yeah, yeah,
Sick. Sick. I love the fact that you're aware that you might need more hobbies because I had that realization not too long ago that I needed more hobbies because it's like I do this and it's live and amplified. If it's not my 9 to 5 job, it's live and amplified. And I went out with some friends on Friday night, which was the first time I'd done that in about 4 months that I went out and actually like shut my brain off. And I was just like, oh, this was actually kind of fun. Why don't I do this more? And
yeah,
then you realize, oh, it's because I'm working so much that I shut my brain or that I kind of just
yeah.
all that outside of my brain. So,
And
you
I
know.
think it also has the possibility of like something you're passionate about, like your podcast and everything, right? My
Mm-hmm.
music, passionate about it, right? I think sometimes too, like when you're so passionate about this one thing and you're just like obsessing, you know, all the time, it can also turn into stress for you at the same
Yeah.
time. Does that make sense? Instead of just, so I've actually been, yeah, I've been really working on being in the moment more and trying to be like where I'm at here in time versus
Mm-hmm.
constantly trying to look ahead at what I need to do and to get here, you know, constantly. It's like you need to have motivation and you need to work hard. But I think that there is a balance that needs to come at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So you're working hard still and you're doing what you need to do, but you find a balance to where you're enjoying what you're doing. Like even content creating, you know, like maybe not create content that is stressing you out because you're like, oh, I just got to create content. Like, and then you're stressed because you just have to create content, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you kind of give yourself a little space and you think of something maybe really fun content wise that you enjoy, like you have to enjoy what you're doing, is what I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
say.
Yeah.
So like whatever you're doing, try to do it for yourself in your own like peace in a
Mm-hmm.
way. So that way it feels more natural and it like, and then I think like over time you can grow more organically, which I haven't
Yeah.
seen fruits of yet because I am a stress ball. I'm very tense.
Oh,
So I've really come to this realization within like the past like maybe couple months
fair.
that I need to like be in the moment more and just
Yeah.
like, well, actually I was in therapy again for a while. And that really made me realize that I need to like take a deep breath, be in the moment, do what I can do for that day and just and let it be, you know, just like the
Yeah.
Beatles, let it be, you know.
Speaking of the Beatles, have you seen that movie Yesterday?
No, I haven't. Is that new?
It's new-ish. It's it I think
I've
it's
heard
a
of it, but I haven't watched it yet.
yeah,
Wonder if my dad's watched it. He probably
it's like a British
has.
film where a musician something happens and the memory of everybody in the world gets erased of every Beatles song ever written. So it's like, what would the world be like if the Beatles never existed?
Oh, that sounds really interesting, actually. I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch
and
that.
so this one guy is the only one that knows who the Beatles are. And so he started playing a Beatles cover. I think it was actually yesterday that he started playing. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is like the most amazing song ever. You need to record that." And he was like, "What are you talking about? The Beatles wrote this song." Yeah, so it's an interesting film about um, just kind of that whole premise. So
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'll definitely watch it.
nice. Um, but once again, I do appreciate you for jumping on. If anybody wants to check out your music, any of the solo project, the band, anything you got going on, where's the best place to find you?
I would say Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Um, I know I have a link tree link, and I should have a link tree link in my Facebook, Instagram, all of that to lead to all of that.
Mhm.
So, but yes, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music, and really any streaming platform you can find my stuff. And it's AIJA Music for
Awesome.
all of it. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, I
And
really
then Juniper
appreciate.
Black, I almost forgot about Juniper Black. I'm sorry. Juniper Black, same thing. Well, not YouTube though. We don't have a YouTube yet. We're working on it. But Spotify and Apple Music and all that for Juniper Black as well. We have our single Ballad of the Bells still out, and we are almost done with another single. So if people want to keep up with that, just follow us on Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
Juniper
If
Black
any
official.
if
Juniper.
anybody's looking for a, new metal fill, Juniper Black is the
That's
place to
right.
go.
We have a little splash of that. We're very progressive, but we have a little splash of some old school new metal stuff, just a little
Nice.
bit.
That's awesome. That's really cool. But I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all next time.
Thank you very much. You have
Yep.
an awesome day. Till next time.
Awesome.